about an hour together to kind of finish off and think about what's going to happen next. One of the things we'd like to do throughout this session is get some feedback. We'd like to know how this course was, but I'd like to get some feedback from you guys about the last couple of hours and find out what went on. I was kind of skirting around the sidelines, noticing what was going on. Do you remember yesterday we showed that photograph of a networking session? Yeah, that was you. That was you for the last 2 hours doing that. There's some really interesting points. There was a gang of you in the middle, and then one man on the outside looking like the guy in the white trousers, because he couldn't get in because you're all talking to each other, which was interesting. So how was it? How was the networking? It was good? So it went well? Yeah. Okay, so let's find out. Who did you talk to?
The one who was sitting yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah. So
yeah. So you spoke to somebody? Okay. Who?
I spoke to a lady from Deloitte.
Okay. Okay. So that's good. You can remember the names, which is good. You need to work on name remembering. Who did you speak to?
I talked to Mr.
Okay.
He was a MD and CEO of a big engineering company called Measurable. He has his own accelerator and enabling business. So got some insights from him. We had attended his talk yesterday actually. After he was a part of the group discussion. And then for more length of time, I got to meet with managing director and CEO of Talmite Global.
Okay.
Mr. Dr.
So I'm liking this going straight to the top, straight to the CEO.
So
yeah. Okay. Good.
To me, whatever I work on is quite of interest to his company, and I could deliver to him in a short nutshell. That's what I've done.
Okay.
And their work aligns with two of their businesses, and he was happy with whatever results I told him. So he gave me guidance that he could on the 11th of this month to come over to his office for.
So you've got a business card and a meeting set up already. Okay, this is good work for a networking session. This is kind of the ideal stuff. So we'll get business cards all the time out of networking sessions, but an arranged meeting, that's pretty much the best outcome you can hope for out of a networking event. So when is it? The 11th of December?
11th of December. So I'm supposed to write to him this evening.
Okay, to confirm.
What we just discussed
okay.
I have to make a presentation to him on the 11th of December.
Okay, so you've got a week.
Yeah.
A week to get yourself prepared for this meeting with the CEO. Okay, good job. Did anyone else speak to people? Yeah? Okay. Okay, good stuff. Excellent. Good. Yeah, great stuff. Excellent. Okay, so how did you do it? How did you have those conversations?
One thing I used few of the principles that you explained to us, keeping it short, especially when I told you that SMS thing to you between us. So try to capture what is the theme of the key area that I'm talking about in a very quick nutshell in a sentence, and then explaining the rest of the idea and what that I've done as compact and crisp as possible to get his attention so that he can capture it. And showed him that I have some knowledge about his company and read his profile and that handbook, so I knew what his own background was and what his company was.
Okay, good
so
stuff.
I knew what is the alignment or sort of alignment that can be.
Are you sure you kept it short? You're doing long there. Lots of talking. Okay, good stuff. Yeah. Good result. Ajay, you were going to say something?
I have a feedback that in my conversation, what I found that as you mentioned that there was a lack of purpose.
Okay.
So it's like because we are just meeting random people now. Even I was just noticed the name and the institute in the card that was flashing.
Yeah.
And then we went ahead and had a small chit chat, but it was like he was expecting something. That why the hell are you talking to me? It's like so it didn't run for a long time.
That's fine.
I was feeling that actually there was a lack of purpose.
Yeah. Okay.
But
good.
He didn't ask him for a date, so that's probably
Good to know. Okay, so purpose would have made a difference.
Yes.
Okay, what were you going to say, Ajay?
For me, it went like I had this feeling of like what should we talk on the start. That was my issue. But as you said, like the start doesn't matter. So I went with the random topic, and then it doesn't matter what you start. The conversation went well and started discussing deep.
So once you're in, it doesn't matter, does it? Can you even remember how you started the conversation?
I started even straight and
Hi.
Yeah. Remarkable. Hello works quite well, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's quite a good thing. And I'm presuming you all know your own name, so that's always an easy win. Hello, I'm Chris. That works pretty well. You're not going to forget that. Okay, so starting was easy. So we had this thing around starting a conversation. Then we had talk about them. Did you manage that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I started like that gave me a big boost. Like saying him that we talked, we were in your lecture yesterday, we were visiting to you last night.
Perfect.
So, for the company, when I talked to a consultant company, they were asking, I heard about your company.
Okay.
So that helped actually. So they started giving an interest. They started focusing on what they're actually saying.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. So being interested in them makes a big difference, doesn't it? And then presumably you got the chance to talk about yourself, which is the next one. So did you talk about yourselves or about your research?
Then I introduced myself, I'm saying that from this college and this. And he himself asked about like what research are you doing, what company are you doing.
Yeah.
Things like that.
Yeah, it's great. People do ask questions, which is really nice. We don't have to give a pitch all the time, do we? They'll pick up the pieces. So how did the practice you'd done with your research explanations help? Was it useful? Yeah, you got to, so they understand what you've been researching. Presumably yes, if you've got a meeting, so you're all good. Okay, so they understood, that's good. Okay, how did you end the conversation then?
After I was done with all my talking, whatever I had to discuss, and I knew that it was, and I clearly said I conveyed a thank you very much for your time.
Yeah. Okay.
Take your leave, so fantastic.
Brilliant. So you just finished, you told them it was finished by saying thank you rather than just...
Yeah, and take your leave.
Yeah, okay. All these good signifiers that help you do that rather than just finishing your talk and then going like this and walking off and leaving them. Okay, so it's not actually that hard, is it? Networking's okay. It might feel weird starting, but it's actually fine. It doesn't matter what we say. People ask questions and we can be interested in them. There's lots of good tips, so hopefully that's useful. Okay, I'm glad you enjoyed that. It was good. And did you get some lunch as well? You got some lunch as well. Good stuff. Okay, where's my clicker? Okay. Yeah.
I just thought it'd be interesting to share the big miss, because there was a time when there were 6 or 7 of you, and there was one person who couldn't get in, who was standing alone. Yeah. And I think I went. And that was a gentleman called Professor Murthy, who is a distinguished professor of the Central Power Research Institute. And I knew he was important because at 10 o'clock this morning, they said they couldn't start the conference because Professor Murthy hadn't arrived. Everybody was there. There was even professors from London there, but they said they couldn't start because Professor Murthy hadn't arrived. He arrived 7 minutes late and then he started. So I thought this person must be very important. And there was just a 10-second gap when he was just with no one before it became impossible because people surrounded him. So all I'm saying is, look, in terms of the way I would put it in a language that you might understand is, in terms of networking, it is the one place where you have to make Kismet work for you. Keep your eyes and ears open for the opportunity.
Yeah. And I think we can actually manage that physically. Now, if we remember back to the photograph we saw yesterday, the different groups were arranged slightly differently. So the ones who were engaged in conversation were face-to-face and closed off, and the ones who were accepting conversation were side by side. And we could see that immediately from looking at the photograph. The example that Indy's talking about, you were all face-to-face. It was really hard for people to get into the conversation. So one of the things we can do, as well as acknowledging that it can be difficult for us to approach people, trying to think of it from the other perspective. But actually part of our job as a networker is to make it easy for people to come and talk to us. So if we standard closed group, people can't approach us. Actually that's an easy win in networking if someone comes to talk to us. So make it easy for them. So if you are in groups, make sure you leave space so that people can come and join you. It's a really nice tip. Okay, before we move on to some action planning stuff, I wanted to get some feedback. So from the British Council's point of view, they're paying for this, so they want to know what stuff works and what stuff doesn't. This is a first time we've done this. We've come over to India to run it. It's the first time Vita have been here. So we'd kind of like to know what you think. So we've written up some things on the board about the key stuff that you've learnt and the key benefits from this workshop. Okay. So we'll kind of just have an open forum and we'll kind of capture some stuff down. We'd really appreciate your honesty about the stuff that you have got all these benefits from, and also stuff that maybe you are less sure about is fine as well. So talk to me. Let's go for key learning. What have you learned over the last 2 days that's been good? Okay, effective ways of communication. Have you got any examples?
Like the way we were practicing in the morning, that to speak about a research thesis or topic in just a few words. So
okay.
That helps actually. That helps to give a good start about talking about your research, and the approach you have mentioned, that start with the why.
Okay. So some of those communication things were useful, and the practice was beneficial. Okay, brilliant. Thank you.
Can we focus on the glitch or like
okay.
I feel that everybody can talk, everybody can do things, but where are you falling apart, and what is your glitch which actually doesn't make it good?
Okay.
I can see where I'm falling apart. So tell me.
Okay, so we've helped you realise what's wrong with yourself. Okay, good. That's kind of useful to know. Yeah.
We also learned how we can be short and effective to express our research.
So getting the idea of being concise in your communication. Yeah, okay. So we set you, 160 characters was our challenge, wasn't it, this morning? Let's get it down. I don't think we'll ever get it down to the 6 words like Ernest Hemingway, but we can do that. Yes?
Explaining with pictures.
Explaining with pictures. You like a bit of drawing, don't you? Yeah, okay. So we've all ended up with, well, we started off actually yesterday with drawing, didn't we? We started off with these effective researchers. We've drawn someone else's research, and then we've got this storyboard of our own, which may or may not be finished. I'd concentrate on this storyboard one of your own. There's something to go away and practice doing. Your thesis will have pictures in it. You will be doing slides and talks and all that kind of stuff. Storyboards are really useful for that, so I'm glad you enjoyed that. So.
Networking.
Yeah. So which bits have been useful about the networking?
How to start a conversation, how to engage with.
Okay, so those tips about actually how do we actually make it happen in the real world have been good. And was the session itself good? Was that a useful thing to do, the 2 hours and meeting people?
We are not used here effectively, but we got the point. So if we go for a conference next time, we will use these things. So
okay.
This will be very helpful.
Okay, so just having something you could then take away and use is a good thing. Okay, brilliant.
On the research framework, we had a lot of parts. That I wish, like, there are some activities on time management or that would have been better. In these activities, how to plan effectively rather than now. Since we have some basic planning involved in research as well, effective planning also matters a lot.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So planning and execution with these time management skills would have been added in this would have been better.
Okay, so when you get your Newton Babber funded place in the UK, come on one of my workshops, because I run workshops on time management and project management for PhD students. So yeah, if you get one at any of the universities I deliver that at, you can come along and you'll get that. I'll let you in for free. I'll be fine.
The formulation for me was that what, why and how, because as a researcher, the first question that I ask myself, why I'm doing something, how and what, right? And beside this, everything I think went well. Because I have gone to most other things in other workshops, but I haven't applied there. And here I try to take a lead and step forward and talk.
Okay. So this is kind of good stuff to know. I mean, part of what the British Council want to do is keep this kind of stuff going. And this is the first tranche, so it's not going to have hit everything. But you guys can have a say in this. So speaking to the British Council about what kind of stuff you want. So I'm speaking to the PM Fellowship. Is it Neha, the organiser? Yeah. Speak to them about the kind of stuff you want, and they'll organise the workshops or try and get them organised. So, okay. Good stuff. What else?
Yesterday the matrix that you showed, like 4 domains and subdomains. So like when it comes to the third level with a single point, it actually look quite complex to look into.
Sure.
Once you gave us those cards, reading through each of them individually gave us an insight that which point matters, which point should be a key point of focus or area of development for myself.
Okay.
And then once you go by point, I could get the complete picture what it exactly means or what it plans to deliver. So it's a very fantastically composed matrix, very very well thought out with all the key points that were given on the card, especially on the back. How to read yourself.
Sure. There's a lot of information in those. Was there too much in the cards? Yeah. There's a little bit.
But then if you go one by one, it actually starts making it.
So would we have would more time with them have been useful? Do you think?
That's what I was suggesting.
Okay.
I think we should have spent a bit more time on that session.
Sure.
Because ultimately, after evaluating the, I think there could have been a small time devoted to how to improvise on the areas which we are scoring.
Okay.
So,
yeah, it's a good idea.
So that thing was missing because we have done evaluation. Then what?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So that the improvisation part was missing.
How could we just use the metrics to understand our areas of improvement?
So the information was good. It was just too much, and we needed a bit more time to explore it.
Yeah,
okay.
When we are putting it fast, then we read those steps very thoroughly because we were very careful which phase we have gone through and we are still lacking. Right?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Good to know. Okay, so we can extend that session, but the cards themselves are a good resource and they've got potential to do something with. Okay. Okay. Is there anything else that we liked, didn't like?
What other teaches us in last 2 days? Evaluation was followed by an activity.
Okay.
And the best part of the activity was it requires the implementation of that lesson.
Okay.
So, after listening the new things or that we should learn, implementation comes just after it. So it's a good way to realize it.
Okay. So you like those activities coming?
Simply listening it.
Okay.
So the activity makes us realize it rather than simply going it or away.
So you like the bits when I wasn't talking? Is that what you're saying?
Making use of what we just listened to.
Yeah. Okay. So and the fact that it came straight afterwards.
To actually use it in talking.
Okay. So you found that useful to be immersed in the using the things.
Realization or implementation is the most important part.
Yeah.
We know the stuff, like it's like there are new things like communication and networking.
Yeah.
But again, doing everything or making it a part of habit is more important than
absolutely.
This workshop.
And I guess the big challenge for you guys is to go away and start implementing it into whatever you do. So start practicing these communications and practice your networking. And well, I know you're going to benchmark. I don't need to talk to you. Everyone else, practice your benchmarking. That'll all be fine. But putting it into place, action is the thing that's going to make a difference. Okay, thank you for that. That's really, really useful. Thank you for being so honest and giving me that feedback. Let's move on to some next step stuff and think about action planning. We've just talked about the need to put things into place. So here's a kind of really simple model for action planning. Goes around in a nice circle, which I like. Yesterday we did quite a lot of the where am I now stuff. We reflected quite a lot on using the RDF to get information about where we are now, what skills we have, what ones we'd like to improve about. I guess what we need to start thinking now is where do I want to go? What do I want myself to look like in the future? Which skills do I need to collect and improve upon? Which behaviours do I want to put in place? Okay, so that's kind of what we'll start doing now. The what's stopping me bit is an interesting one. It's really rare we ask ourselves that question actually. What stops us being brilliant and fantastic and amazing and organised, doing all this kind of stuff? What's getting in the way? Knowing that's a really valuable thing to do. Having some understanding about how we could get there is really useful. So you need to get a scholarship so you can come on my workshop. Okay, that's a nice easy thing to do. But actually just finding what opportunities there are there. We've heard about funding opportunities, but just knowing what routes there are to extra training and development could be really, really useful. Good chance for you guys to stay in touch with each other and just be aware of what training happens at each university and what kind of opportunities might be open to you. You have to explore a little bit when you're a junior researcher and chase after them. It's actually a great place to be because training's pretty readily available to researchers in a way that it's not to people who are employed particularly. And we find that if we want training, we have to pay for it. We have to actually, I want to go and get training into presentation skills, I need to go on a course and pay. You guys can usually find a way of getting it for free, which is kind of nice to know. And that won't happen forever, so get all the free stuff now. A kind of key thing as well is measuring your progress, which is where benchmarking is really, really useful, and those phases can be a really nice way of just playing through, actually, how am I getting on? How do I know I'm making progress? Is this enough progress for this stage? And playing around with those. And then finally, the big one, which is taking action. Okay, so that's one of the big things that we need to do. So let's bring in a model, and then we can try and use it. It's a really standard model. It's called SMART Objectives. SMART is an acronym, obviously. Everything's an acronym. We're going to go through what the points mean. And when we've gone through it, I'll give you an example, and then we'll start writing some objectives for ourselves to think about our next steps, okay? So first up we have specific. It's really easy to set vague goals for the future, like I want to be rich. Okay, that's great, it doesn't really mean anything. It's all relative. We need specificity if we're going to achieve anything. So I was running this course in Japan in March of this year. Now this year has been a pivotal year for me because I am now officially middle-aged. Okay. Earlier on in this year, I was still in my 30s. Okay, so that was young. That still counted as being relatively young. Probably not to you, but it did to me. And then in October, I've just turned 40. So I was feeling the onset of middle age. I was 6 months away from becoming 40. This is a scary thing, halfway through my life. And I was feeling a bit out of shape and overweight and unhealthy. And I'd kind of said to myself, I want to get fit. Okay, and I said this to my girlfriend, I want to get fit. And she said, Chris, you spend half your time in workshops telling people to write specific objectives, and then you come home and you say you want to get fit. That's rubbish. So sort it out. We need a specific thing. And she's a bit of a bully, my girlfriend, a very nice one, but she bullies me. She said I couldn't say I have to get fit. So I said, okay, I'm going to start running. That's a little bit better. Okay, so instead of getting fit, I'm going to start running. Okay. She kept probing me all the way through till I got this good goal. So we'll go through these. So I'm going to start running again. This was in March of this year. What is it I want to achieve? Okay. Running's not enough. I need to be able to run a certain distance, okay? So I went for 5 kilometers. I figured that was achievable for a slightly out of shape 39-year-old. 5 kilometers is about right. I don't think I was ready for a marathon, or 10k felt a bit long. 3k is probably too short. I reckon 5k is not too bad distance. Okay, so we're getting a bit more specific. I need to be able to run 5 kilometers. So my girlfriend's still bullying me. She's like, by when? What, by when? I have to tell you by when? Yeah, you have to be able to run 5 kilometers. You can't do it today, you're not fit enough. So when are you going to be able to do it? So I said, okay, by Christmas. So I gave myself 9 months. Okay, you'll notice that hasn't happened yet. So 5 kilometers by Christmas. How fast? I told her she was a bully. So I'm gone from I need to get fit. So I'm now committing myself to running 5 kilometers in 30 minutes by Christmas. Okay, so that was my target. Okay, kind of interesting how these things work. So the next one up is measurable. We can kind of see from my goal now, be able to run 5k in 30 minutes by Christmas. How easy is that to measure? It's pretty easy. I can log my time, I can log my distance, all this kind of stuff. How easy is get fit to measure?
Have a parameter for fitness, whether it's weight or stamina,
yeah.
Whatever, have a parameter and
So there's loads of stuff, there's lots of things I can take into consideration. So I might have lost a bit of weight, but I didn't choose that, I chose distance. Okay, so there's a specificity around it. Stuff we can measure helps us along the way. We can monitor our progress really easily. I could see the times falling down and the distances going up. So I'm starting to run 4k. Eventually I get to 5k and then my times start to come down. So we start to monitor progress really effectively just by writing a very specific goal. Okay, we also need a level of appropriateness. Okay, this is why I went for 5 kilometers rather than an ultra marathon. Okay, because I wasn't doing any exercise. So going for an ultra marathon by Christmas, that's not appropriate for my lifestyle. I travel around a lot, so I'm often in airports and on trains and in hotels in strange cities. So running a marathon's not realistic with my lifestyle. When am I going to train? Running 5k in half an hour. Half an hour's okay. I have time periods where I have half an hour. So that's a nice appropriateness. It fits in with my life. That time scale fits. It aligns with my priorities, okay, with all the stuff that's going on. I don't have to drop all my childcare so I can go run for a marathon. I can do it in half an hour. Okay. There's another one. Realistic. Looking at the fine figure in front of you, does 5 kilometers in half an hour seem realistic for someone like me? Yeah, at least one of you nod, otherwise I'll start to feel bad. Kind of feels okay, but this idea of having enough time and resources and help is really important. I chose running as well because it's cheap. I just need shorts, some running shoes, a t-shirt. I don't need to invest in climbing equipment or a motorbike or anything else to be able to do that activity. It fits in with the resources I have. It's also realistic in terms of, I looked on the internet, what's the training times to get fit for these kind of things? And it kind of seemed like a sensible outcome to do. So there's a sense of realism in there. And then finally we have time bound. As you'll know, I was bullied into 2 times. I had to choose by Christmas and I had to choose in half an hour. So this was a good goal. From just getting fit, I've gone to committed running 5 kilometers in 30 minutes by Christmas. How do you think I'm doing?
You're doing great.
I'm doing great. It's kind of interesting when you start to be thinking about goals like this. Actually, it's pretty easy to get them. Because I've got all these targets and these easy measuring things, it became really, really straightforward. So I could pretty much log my time. Right, yeah, I got to 5k pretty quickly. Being able to actually run that distance quite quickly was fine. And you start to look around and find things that will help you. There's an organised run or park run that happens just near where I live on a Saturday morning. So this is a really good thing to join and get involved with. That also gives you a time and some competition and other people helping you out with it. I shared my goal with lots of other people, so they all helped me out. My friend Alan's a really good runner, so when I was getting towards different targets, he would help me out because he would know, he knew what my goal was, and it was really good. So I had until this December to get 30 minutes. When do you think I made it? How long do you think it took me to get under 30 minutes? It took me a month. Okay, so I reached my target in a month, which is kind of nice, and it was supposed to take me 9 months. So I could sit back, put my feet up on the settee and get fat again, right? No, you already know my girlfriend well enough by now that that's not going to work. So this kind of thing, and we saw on the circle, take action and then re-review it. Okay, so what's the next target? 25 minutes. Okay, by when? And gradually I kept changing this, altering the goal. Once you have a good one, it's easy to alter as well. And so the final target that I worked on was I wanted to get under 22 minutes by the time I was 40. So that was my challenge. 5k in under 22 minutes. And this is where I got my friend Alan to help me. Got the resources to help me. So a week before my 40th birthday, a cold Saturday morning, Alan set off running with me on the park run. Okay, there's about 80 to 100 people do this run every Saturday morning, so it's quite big. And then you get time by about 5 hours later, it comes through. It's a timed run. So you get this email saying, your time this week is 21 minutes 57. So I did it. It's amazing how it works. The thing is, because I've done this goal so much, I'm kind of done with it. I don't know where to go next. It gets hard to keep going. I need to set a new challenge that's not running. I'm not going to get much better running than I already have in the last year. So I need to do something else. But this is a very, very effective method of helping you get what you want. Okay. So we don't need a goal for running. You all look fit and healthy. That's not going to help us. That's not what this course has been about. This course has been about maximising your potential as a researcher. Okay, so that's what we're going to work with. So wherever you are in your PhD process, what we're looking for here is 3 different goals that we're going to set ourselves. Okay, so we're going to go through this process 3 times. Okay. You might not get it right for all of them, that's fine. We're going to go through this process 3 times. So timescale wise, I'd kind of go for, if it takes a week, it's probably too small a thing. So I'd be looking at something that's 3 months to 12 months down the line. Something goals that you can achieve within that time. I'm pretty flexible if you want to go a little shorter and a bit longer, but that's roughly the kind of time scale we'll be going at. Okay, that makes sense? So your job then is to get your notebooks and a pen and paper and go through this 3 times. Write 3 objectives. Imagine my girlfriend was bullying you. So if you write something rubbish, she'd be on your case. So if it's not specific, we need to know what the specific thing is. If it's not measurable, make sure it is. We need evidence that you can do this and that you're progressing. If it's not appropriate or realistic, it's never going to happen. So make sure those things are factored in. And choose your end point. Okay? Choose your timing to do it. Okay? So write 3, and then we'll do a little bit of sharing so you can give it some feedback on one of the goals. Okay? So this should take you 10 to 15 minutes to get 3 is probably enough time to give it enough time for each one. Okay? So I'll see you in a little while.
sense of
as you told, I have written 3 objectives. Okay, he is asking to read the third. To maintain suitable professional life and personal life balance. The second, this is the specific. Measurable is yes, because measurable in the sense putting gym or sports activity in day-to-day life. And second reason why it is measurable, spending about 3-hour time for study outside laboratory.
Okay.
That's why it is measurable, I think. Appropriate, yes, obviously, because we are researcher, and obviously activity like sports and everything is much important. Realistic, yes, because I do have gym facility and badminton, basketball in my hostel only, and 3-hour study. I need table or lamp, so everything is available.
Okay.
So it's realistic, time bound by the end of this year, and after time to time I do review that whether I am following it.
Okay, good stuff. So how can we help him out? What can we add more to that to make it even more effective? Let's help him out. We want him to achieve this thing. So what can we add to it?
You can divide the time of exercise, like in the morning, 1 hour, and 1 hour.
So some specificity about when.
Yeah.
So go to the gym 3 times a week, after work or before work or whatever. So those kind of specific things help. Those commitments make a big difference. So going to the gym for about 3 hours, you said?
No, not study for.
Oh, you study for about 3 hours, okay.
After outside.
So we can be more specific about that, okay? So where are you going to do it? Which day? Where's it going to happen? What kind of things are you going to study? Study's vague. So the more information you can add to it, the more effective it'll be. So really great. Just kind of give yourself a bit more of a hard time. Yes, Anna. Okay, so find out what the effect of that is on other stuff. Yeah, this is a really good thing for goal setting. What are the implications of you achieving it? Of you putting that into your life? Okay, that's a really good thing to think about.
His approaching is
balance.
Like balance between professional and personal life.
Yeah.
Nowadays, in especially metro cities, it is a kind of must, because kids don't see their parents coming with both of them are talking, because there was a story, little story. One day, the child asked to her grandma, "Ma'am, who are these 2 people?" The kids saw them while in the morning they were returning back. So, so grandma told her, "They are your parents who works in Gurgaon."
Okay.
But don't stay here, right?
Yeah. And I've never met anyone who doesn't have a general goal of, I want a better work-life balance. Everybody says that, okay? But very few people achieve it because they don't do this. They just know it's something that vaguely they might want, but actually committing to spend every Saturday doing that thing, or never working on that time, always turn my mobile off. I have these for all kinds of strange things. Sometimes I bully my girlfriend. You're not allowed, there's no electronic devices allowed in my bedroom. That's one of my rules to ensure I get good work-life balance. I don't want people emailing in bed. That's not a good thing. So just kind of creating these objectives are really, really useful. Okay. Would anyone else like to share? No? Okay, that's fine. These are yours. You don't have to share them. That's absolutely fine. I'd recommend you share them with someone, because somebody helping you out is a really valuable resource to have. It doesn't have to be me, probably, because I can't do too much anyway. But find someone that you trust and that knows you well that can help you out with these. Provide the resources to give you assistance. Okay, it's a really valuable thing to have on board. Okay, can I have one last slide around personal development? A lot of the things we've covered this week, just take a read of this and then we'll go through it. There's my clicker. So once we've just done this slide, I've just got thank yous to say, so if you want to jump in after this one to say, simply way thanks. Okay, so yesterday morning we started off with the first point on here, we did it in a slightly abstract way. So the first thing I set you yesterday was to draw this picture of an ideal researcher. So when we do that, we draw ourselves as we want to be, without necessarily knowing about it. So these little pictures that you came up with, this is how you see yourselves as an ideal researcher. This is why it's a really interesting activity to go through. Understanding who it is we want to be is really, really valuable. And I love this idea of drawing a picture of our future self. It's a really nice idea. Once we've done that, we need to be really honest and reflect on where we are right now. For the benchmarking addicts among us, we'll probably be doing this already. But actually using something like the Researcher Development Framework or any other similar tool is a really good way of reflecting on where we are, so we can spot the gaps. We don't look quite like these idealised selves just yet, but we need to work towards them, and finding the gaps is a really, really important way of doing that. The thing that will get us there is our learning agenda, getting the skills and tools and behaviours that we need to become our ideal selves. We need to set something in motion that will make that happen. It's not always going to work. That's what I'll say. We'll go on courses about presentation skills, and the next presentation we give will be terrible. It's all about learning and practicing and experimenting. Some things will be perfect. Some things take a little while to get a sense of. Okay, and that's kind of normal. You guys should be used to experiments going wrong. You know, that's what happens in the world of research, right? So it's okay for that to happen to us too. It's okay to have a clumsy conversation in a networking session, because next time we'll do it better. That's okay. Don't beat yourselves up about the failures. They're actually a great opportunity to learn. So practice, play and experiment as much as you can. It's a great way of progressing. And remember always that there are people and resources that can help us along the way. The title of this was about a mentorship workshop, and I really love that idea of having a mentor, having someone around that can just point us in the right direction, help us be honest with ourselves, and help us pick up the pieces when we get it wrong. So find some people to talk to about this. You're in this nice network of PM scholars, okay? This is a great resource to have. There's lots of people doing the similar thing. Stay in touch with each other. Find out what's going on. It's a great network to have. Get the support from that as much as you can, okay? So we are about done. We're about done. So we're just going to say thank you, really, because you've worked really, really hard over the last couple of days. You've been immersed in this session and this lovely room for 2 days, working all kinds of strange things. So thank you very much for being involved with all the activities, for all the effort you've put into doing all the pictures and the discussions and practicing all the networking. You've worked really hard, and I really appreciate that. And thank you for your attention for the last 2 days. It's been really nice to work with you all. And I just wish you good luck with your research, with your PhDs, and with whatever wonderful things come next. So thank you very much. See you again sometime.